You take the good, you take the bad, you take them all, and there you have the facts of life. The facts of life. There's a time you gotta go and show you're growing. Now you know about the facts of life.
We all agree, one of the great TV theme songs of all time, The Facts of Life. One of the great TV shows of all time. Iconic when we were kids, and still to this day. And we've had a bunch of the stars from the show on this show. Kim Fields, still to this day, I'm not sure, Bernie, anybody ever laughed harder when I said the word dick on this show than Kim Fields.
She was, her jaw dropped first, and then she couldn't stop laughing.
She couldn't stop laughing. She's been on a couple of times. I've become friendly now with Mindy Cohn. She's out in Los Angeles. Of course, she played Natalie.
Right.
She has not been on yet, though. Neither has Nancy McKeon. But joining us now for her second time in studio, she was here last year when this show started on MeTV, Collector's Call, is the lovely Lisa Whelchel, excuse me. Good morning, Lisa. How are you?
It's so funny you say Jill,
Yeah.
because it was maybe meant to be. My mom wanted to name me Jill.
Is that right?
Yeah, my dad wanted to name me Debbie, and my grandmother wanted to name me Lisa, and so my mother deferred to the mother-in-law. But I've always actually really thought, I think Jill's cuter. Yeah.
Oh, so how you doing, Jill?
Thank you. Actually, when I was 10, I made my parents call me Jennifer for a long time, just because I wanted to change my name. So
you didn't like your name?
I don't know. It wasn't that I didn't like my name. I think I must have inherited it. My mother was born Virginia. Then in school she was Ginger, and then after her divorce she became Jenny, and then she became Gentry, and then she became Jen. So it must be in the family that we just like change our name when it's time to just
Sounds
change
like the witness
something.
protection program.
Sound like you drink a lot of gin.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, where did you grow up again? In
Texas.
In Texas, okay, yeah. And in fact, Nancy lives in Texas now, right?
She
Nancy
lives outside
McKeon.
of Austin.
Right, you're out in all over the place, and Mindy's out in Los Angeles. And where does Kim live these days? Where is she?
You know, she was living in Atlanta. Then she moved to Denver, and then she filmed a Lifetime movie recently in Vancouver, and Mindy and I did a little cameo on that show. But she loved it so much, she was talking about moving to Vancouver. So who knows where she'll be? I guess we're just all changing names, changing states, changing countries, apparently.
Does it feel like a long time, though? Again, it has been a while now. I know we lost Edie last year, which was very, very, very sad. But does it feel like a long time that you were kids doing this show, childhood stars here in America?
Not really. I mean, in a lot of ways, it doesn't feel that long ago at all. It probably doesn't hurt that Facts of Life has continued to be a big part of my life. And but no, I don't know. How about you? Does it feel that long ago that you were a kid?
No.
Yeah,
it
not
really
me
doesn't.
either.
No. How about for you, Bern?
Yeah, it feels like just like yesterday. No, listen, Lisa, we're going to talk about your new show, Collector's Call, which premieres Sunday on MeTV, the MeTV network, I should say, at 9:30. But again, a lot of people grew up with Facts of Life. Was it tough for you to be a child actor? A lot of child actors did not turn out so well, but you seem to be very well adjusted and successful.
The whole show, by the way.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah, you know what? It was both. It was tough, and it was also fun. I think we did have a very unusual set looking back, and even just on the other side of it, a lot of our friends coming out of different shows, I think we didn't realize how sheltered our show was. And for whatever reason, you know, I think we had good, strong families, and I think the producers let us be kids, and so we had a great time, and it was tough. I think it's tough growing up, period. Growing up on television is a whole nother level of it. And so, yeah, I mean, just the pressure to not go through puberty, for one thing.
Right.
So it was good and bad.
You were tutored?
I guess it was
tutors?
take the good, take the bad,
I
right?
guess. I mean, to Bernie's point, there were so many shows. I mean, for example, another show that was popular the same time as yours was Different Strokes. And just about everybody on that show, I mean, God rest their souls, Dana's gone, Gary's gone. You know, Todd's had an immense amount of issues.
Right.
And they had somebody like a Conrad Bain on the set who was a decent, nice old man who tried to help out. But every one of those kids went awry, and that wasn't the only show. It's almost amazing that you guys were 4 for 4, all good kids.
It is amazing. It's one of the reasons why I wouldn't. People ask me all the time, how do you get your kid in show business? I'm not going to give that advice. I wouldn't let my kids be in show business. My daughter, my youngest, wanted to be, and I said, okay, when you're 18, you can do what you want. If you want my support after you have to graduate college. And she wanted it badly enough that she actually did a 4-year degree in 2 years just so she could move to California and pursue it.
Wow.
But I'm so happy because she pursued it. She's very, very talented, very successful. And then she just said, my nervous system can't handle that business, and she got out, and I'm just hats off to her.
Yeah, absolutely. So Lisa Whelchel in studio, Blair from The Facts of Life, of course. And I said new show, but it's actually the second season of Collector's Call, which premieres Sunday night, January 12th at 9:30 on the MeTV network. And tell us about that show. You got a bunch of collector's items and guests come on. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's really a fun show. And that's some people might think that's a superficial or shallow word. I think we need more fun shows these days. I travel the country and find people with amazing collections. I learn a lot. And I think the audience learns a lot as well from these different collections. And then we bring an appraiser in. We have a thing a twist at the end where they make a trade for something they want. And it's interesting to see because all of these have really heart evoking meanings to them. So to let go of that for something they really want, it actually is, I wouldn't say it's a great anticipation, and but it is, who knows, it's about 50-50 that they make the trade. But it really is. It's fascinating. It's fun. It's interesting. I'm a life coach now, so my favorite part about it is the people and the stories. And so it has everything that I think makes for a really entertaining show.
Yeah, you were here last year when you first started the show with Bernie and I, and we're happy you came back. And I think I asked you this last year, but it's worth asking again, and that is, I started thinking, and I think Bernie, you and I, we both dove into this, is there something in my home that I own that I would be really hesitant to relinquish on a show like this? Maybe my daughter's first blanket. Not that anybody would want that, but if they did, I'm just saying that, there are some things I have in my house that I would be hesitant to give up. And that's what you're talking about, kind of pulling at the heartstrings for some of these folks, right?
Well, most all of the, and I would even venture to say all of the collectors we've met so far, the passion began in childhood, and they're still trying to keep that alive and hold on to that. It's probably one of the reasons why MeTV Network is so popular. It's the nostalgia factor of it. And so to give up something like, even you mentioned, your daughter's blanket, that's not from your childhood, but it's from her childhood, and wanting to hold on to that. There's just something that's, whatever that is, that's within all of us that doesn't want to let go.
So among the guests this year on Collector's Call, you're going to have Scott Hamilton. You're going to have the guy from the Brady Bunch, Barry Williams. You're also going to have a reunion of the Facts of Life cast.
Well, no, actually, it's just Jerry Jewell, who played Cousin Jerry. Sure. But the episode is Charlotte Ray's memorabilia. When she passed away...
Charlotte, I said Edie McClurg, right? Charlotte, right?
Yeah, so when she passed away, her son was going through all of her things, and he reached out to us and was just saying, he had a lot of his mom's stuff, and so it was very sweet of him. And I said, well, and he said, and I don't know what to do with all of it. I said, well, what do you have? And he began to say, and I said, my goodness, people need to know about this, because she was on Facts of Life for 9 years and Different Strokes before that, but that was just really a blink in her career. Yeah. Decades, Broadway, Sesame Street. She had recorded an album. So that was a really special show, because I think I learned as much about her after her death through her memorabilia as I did knowing her.
Very cool. And Bernie did mention Barry Williams, who of course played the oldest son, Greg. And I was a huge Brady Bunch fan. I think we all were, right? So it's actually my favorite show for many, many, many years. And I've watched the middle kid, Peter. He went on, and he actually married the lady that won the very first ever Tyra Banks at Next Model Show.
Yes.
Oh, really?
The lady who first won that. She ended up on Surreal Life, and she married Peter Brady. So some of these kids have continued to do TV stuff, but Barry does a lot of stuff.
Right.
And are you friendly with Barry Williams? Are you guys?
Well, we've passed, our paths have crossed a few times, but I wouldn't say we're
friendly. You're not very friendly, because it's a very incestuous business, this whole thing.
No, but I will say, the funny thing is, when you mention it, of course, Brady Bunch is a show that I grew up with as well. And so in the middle of filming the show, when he was the guest on the Collector's Call, which he's on the very first premiere episode on Sunday night, cool. I was referring to him at some point, and I said, well, tell me, Greg, what do you think we should do? And I, of course, didn't even think about it, but I was really glad I did, because it really helps me understand when people call me Blair. It's unconscious.
Right. Sure it is. You happen to live both, as I think you mentioned earlier, Nashville, Tennessee, and L.A. And that is the spectrum right there.
Isn't that the truth?
Really? I mean, you have that's the left coast and the east coast, and America on one side, America on the other side.
Right.
I don't know. Where do you spend most time, and which do you like better?
I spend one day more in Nashville than California, so I don't have to pay taxes in California.
Good.
Smart.
Very
Brilliant.
smart.
And I prefer Nashville. It's just slower and less expensive.
Now I see in Los Angeles because for the opportunities, the working.
No,
No?
that's not it. No,
I take it back.
Los Angeles because I have 3 kids. They're all married, so I have 6 kids and a new grandbaby, all in Los Angeles. So
my God.
there are 7 really
my
big
God.
reasons.
So if they
to be
weren't
in
there, you never
LA.
even go to California if they're not for the kids. You'd never go to California.
No.
Nashville's lovely. I love Nashville. I've been to the Grand Ole Opry, the whole thing.
And it's the happiest city.
It is.
In 2019, somebody designated it the happiest city.
It's actually voted that, and it's beautiful.
It really, that's part
Very
of it
queen.
too. And it also has seasons, but they're not extreme seasons.
Right,
So it's
right.
really nice.
The show is Collector's Call. Is second season comes your way this Sunday night, January the 12th at 9:30 p.m. on the very popular Me TV network, and of course the beautiful Lisa Whelchel, star of Facts of Life, is the host of the show. Great to see you again. Happy
too.
New Year.
Thank you.
Yes, it is.
All right,
Both
nice
of
to have you back, Lisa Whelchel.